Live tonight from the ISM Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. This is the second to last race of the Flatout Racing League. This is the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Coming into this race is a 9-point difference in the point standings. Ryan Hartz leads the points by 9 points over Michael Finlayson. So it's 317 points for Ryan Hartz, 308 points for Michael Finlayson. Adam de Blasio almost there, but 20 points behind the leader in the third place position and in points with 297 points. So heading into next week, there is a possibility that it could just be a two-car race for the points. But at the moment, it's pretty much anybody's game. It could be at least a three-car race as far as I know as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see what exactly happens for this race. Qualifying is currently underway. There's about 3 minutes remaining here. So we will hold off on saying exactly who is where. It's 2 minutes and 50 seconds remain. Winner of last week at Martinsville was Michael Finlayson. Ryan Hartz finishing in second place. So that shortened the points lead just by a little bit. So we'll hold off for the time being. Again, on standings, 2.5 minutes left in qualifying. Not sure if anybody else is really qualifying. Going to double check the timing here. And yeah, there's about 3 other drivers that are actually qualifying. So we will go ahead and head to a driver that's actually putting down a lap time right now. That being Walker Thomas. Out of 17 cars, Walker Thomas starts his first of 2 lap times here for qualifying. He's about to finish up his first one, so it's the white flag for the driver of the 18. Out of 17 drivers, Walker Thomas has just almost for a split second set on the pole. And Finlayson took it over by 0.089 seconds. So we saw a pole time there that lasted about a half second, probably even a full second. And it looks like Walker Thomas is not even going to attempt for a second lap, unfortunately. And that will not help him out. The new Mustang is here for this weekend. In fact, we'll get the cameras set up as Matt Dyer is driving one that said new Mustang. So, unfortunately, cameras were not set up at the time beforehand. I'll actually get that set up right now, just in case. About 30 seconds remain in qualifying. Currently, it's Michael Finlayson, Walker Thomas, and Shane Terrian, your top 3 in the timing. So qualifying has been complete. Camera has been reset, or at least cameras have been set up for the new Mustang. So that means we're going to head down at your starting grid for this race. So starting off in the first place position, it will be Michael Finlayson. Second place is Walker Thomas there on the left-hand side of your screen. That is actually incorrect. That looks to be... We do have the correct timing, so it looks like those two have not lined up yet. So that is third place being, fourth place. But that is currently Shane Terrian in third place. Fourth place is who we're seeing right now, Michael Laria. There's the pole sitter. And fifth place going to be Bradley Burke, rounding out your top five. Grant Davis starts in sixth. Seventh place, Tom Bourne. Eighth place, Adam de Blasio. Ninth place going to be Tyler Riggs, and rounding out the top 10 is Robert Kenny. Bronson Stafford starts in 11th. Matt Dyer starts 12th. 13th is going to be Samuel Cook. 14th, Matthew James. 15th, the last driver to set a lap time is Dakota Ramsier. Looking at that last name, trying to pronounce it again. But Alan Rowell did not set a lap time, so he will start 16th. And Matthew Rodriguez starts 17th, also not setting a lap time for tonight. So the pace car rolls off and will be underway here in a few moments. Only one pace lap here at, well, it's not even a full pace lap, but one pace lap nonetheless here at ISM. In the middle of the day as well. Take a quick moment to check the air temperature. Apologies, but air temperature going to be 78 degrees. Track temperature, the usual Arizona temperature, being 119. So the track is pretty much quite literally on fire for tonight. So air temperature may be slightly incorrect, but that may fluctuate throughout this race. Finlayson in control. Walker Thomas starts on the outside lane. Green flag flies, and we are underway at ISM. Everyone's split on where to go. Some taking the regular dogleg oval. Some just deciding, well, you know what, I'm going to cut right through that. So Finlayson leads the first lap. Grant Davis slaps the wall just a little bit on the exit of turn 4. Halfway point this race will be lap 75. Right now, multiple drivers all over the racetrack. We have a side-by-side battle here as Walker Thomas is on the outside lane, falling back ever so slightly, trying to battle back, trying to get by Michael Laria, or at least trying to fend off Michael Laria, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case because Bradley Burke is going to be right there on the quarter panel. That's going to send Thomas down to about 5th place, and with de Blasio there, it could be 6th place even. So as Thomas continues to unfortunately fall back, Grant Davis might be doing the same. He has Bronson Stafford barely on the inside, just on the quarter panel as they head down into turn 1. And the 18 fends off that position for the time being, stays in 5th place. Trying to fend off Adam de Blasio. De Blasio dives down to the inside, left side tires below the yellow line. No issue with that. Thomas stays in at 5th. That's Grant Davis stays in at 9th. Bronson Stafford stays in the top 10. Alan Rowell getting by Matt Dyer in the 84. It's very calm so far, very spread out. Shane Terry in 2nd place. 3rd place going to be Michael Laria. So all we have to do is wait for pit stops at the very most. Unless something does happen, then in this case, we're going to be here for probably about an hour and a half. Maybe an hour, being projected about an hour, 5 minutes. It's very single file, very calm for the most part. Even with the dog leg, it's not exactly throwing anybody for a loop. As Thomas is actually falling back, I believe. Nope, I was looking at the wrong drivers. some reason, I got Grant Davis mixed up with Walker Thomas. Apologies for that, but right now we have 3 drivers, of course, in it. Your camera shot 98 being Tyler Riggs, 24 Grant Davis, 61 Bronson Stafford. And they're all 8th, 9th, and 10th, respectively. Samuel Cook in the 52 machine sits 11th. Robert Kennedy sits 12th. Matthew James 13th. Matt Dyer, the very top side of the racetrack, entering turn 3. Alan Rowell sits 15th. 16th, Matthew Rodriguez, and 17th is Dakota Ramsier. Right now, not too much of a difference between your front 2 runners for the time being. About 10th faster was Shane Terry in the last time around. This time by, it's virtually identical. So we're going to be looking a little bit more at the mid-pack for this race as compared to really just the leaders. As Walker Thomas continues to hold off the 21 of de Blasio. Even with de Blasio directly on top of the back bumper of Thomas. Thomas hangs strong, possibly not even looking in his mirror. Saying, well, you know, if I look in my mirror, I'm probably going to be very uncomfortable. Saw some sparks fly off the hood there. Or bounce off the hood, actually, as a very, very wide turn by Alan de Blasio. That's going to leave him open to the inside of Tom Bourne. Tom Bourne will not advance to that 6th place position, unfortunately. Any frame rate issues are possibly through iRacing. More than likely. At least that's what I am assuming. And de Blasio trying to make the inside lane work. Not the inside lane, but more the middle lane. But oh, Thomas gets loose off the corner of turn 4, and that's going to leave the door open for Alan de Blasio as he dives down to the inside. At 12 of 150, could see a position change for 5th. Tom Bourne could be capitalizing. I thought the 21 was going to squeeze the 18 there for a second, but thankfully that did not happen. Sure looked like it with the momentum difference. Thomas tries to cross over down to the inside, almost makes it work. So close, yet so far for Walker Thomas. But he does have another 146 laps to get back into the top 5. And it's very unfortunate for Thomas. He started all the way up in 2nd place. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be falling back for the time being. Although that momentum for falling back may have stalled out for the time being. So Thomas may be finally catching a little bit of a break here in terms of how many positions he's losing. He has the speed, but unfortunately it's the track may not be playing too nice with him, especially with tires on the racetrack as well as the aero package. Hopefully, though, that 18 can recover. At the moment, pretty spread out. A solid about 0.3, 0.4 seconds between your front 2 runners. Michael Laria sits in 3rd place. 4th place, Bradley Burke. So very calm opening. 16 coming to 17 laps here at ISM Raceway. Single file, a little bit of cloud cover on the back straightaway. If that does stay, in fact, it looks like it's going to be around most of the racetrack. I was about to say the entirety. If you look here on the pit lane, or at the pit lane camera, you can see just at the very top under the ticker, under the scoring, I should say, turns 3 and 4 covered in clouds. Thankfully, not quite literally, as Matt Dyer, unfortunately, is off the racetrack. Not exactly sure what happened to him. We'll see if we can get a replay. Again, not exactly sure what happened to Matt Dyer. New fastest laps, apologies for that. New fastest lap so far set by Finlayson at 26.455. And we'll see if we can get the incident that happened to Matt Dyer. It's about 5 laps ago as well. So we're going to take a little bit just to rewind and get back to see if we can figure out what happened with the 84 machine. And it looks like a little bit of a received throughput error, so we'll back off on the replay. A little bit of internet issues for Matt Dyer, but a move for second place for Michael Laria puts Shane Terrian down to third place for the time being. Laria is on a move. He's definitely not waiting for sure. That's a choice as he completely nearly cuts the nose off, at least appears to be. A little bit of a slide job on asphalt, if you will. I'm pretty sure Shane Terrian was tempted to make a move to the inside, but decided, well, there's really no point. Some sparks flying again. I can see it visibly there. Now the clouds have covered that section of the racetrack. In fact, the entire racetrack as well, it seems. So we could be having a little bit of cars either fall off or start to really wake up. One of them is Michael Laria. Ironically enough, as Laria starts to slowly make his way up. He's got 0.8 seconds between himself and Michael Finlayson. And it's a solid number difference as well. Solid 0.783 second gap all the way around the racetrack. And the lap times last time around, virtually identical, 27.601 from your current leader, but 27.587, so 0.02 seconds faster, give or take a few. Actually, 0.014 seconds. I'm just doing this off the top of my head, however. Sunlight a little bit back out on the racetrack. Oh, Terrian. Wicked loose off the corner. Not exactly wicked loose, but loose enough to really see that back end start to come around off of that number 38. Off turn number 4. See how sideways the 38 is right there, and somehow, some way, he manages to keep it straight. Solid 0.8 seconds now as Dakota Ramseer is unfortunately in pit road. From this distance, not seeing any damage, not seeing any damage actually, although it could be on the back end. A little bit of back end damage, although he has been sitting in pit road for about 2 minutes, almost 2.5 minutes. As Matt Dyer is back out on the racetrack, six laps down is Ramseer. And I don't believe we can really figure out what exactly happened, so take a quick look back at our replays here for a few moments. As the 46 is unfortunately off the racetrack now for the time being. Not sure if it was one lap specifically. Not seeing anything for the 46, so we'll go back live to your current leader, being the 14, second place, Michael Laria, third place, Shane Terrian. The question is, when do we expect to see some pit stops form up here? Apologies for the silence. Just enjoying just enjoying the sounds here of the cars as they go around. So we haven't done this little segment in a while, but we'll hold off just until lap 30 and just until we see a little bit of an attempt made here for 4th place. Saw de Blasio peek down to the inside. Since we haven't done this little segment in a while, we like to present to you the sights and sounds of ISM Raceway. Okay, we'll hold off on that because Bradley Burke just got really sideways off turn number 4, somehow saved it, and he'll fall back to 5th. So now we will go to your sights and sounds of ISM Raceway. So that's a nice little bit of the sights and sounds here to see a little bit of a more prominent single file train is formed up, or at least formed back up as compared to earlier where everybody's really spread out for the most part. I got 3rd place Shane Terrian in the 38, 4th place Adam de Blasio in the 21, 5th place Bradley Burke in the 51, Walker Thomas 6th place, trying to hang on. A little bit of a 4-car train, and Tom Bourne just tagging on at the end and nearly tagged the outside wall off turn 4. So I expect the pit window to be open either pretty much about now or within about next 5 or so laps. And right now, we're just looking through the field. This, I believe, is your closest battle as Bronson Stafford looked to be a little bit tail happy off turn 4 there, but Stafford nonetheless will still stay in his vehicle, or stay with his vehicle, I should say. Grant Davis a little bit wide, possibly off turn 2. Maybe a little bit too close for comfort on the outside wall. Now it's Bronson Stafford all over the back bumper. Right now, again, a very calm race so far here at ISM Raceway. For the second to last race, this isn't too bad either. Halfway point again, lap number 75, and you could really see the cloud cover. It looks like it's going to rain. Thankfully, that's not a thing yet in iRacing. Ooh, Davis a little bit low off the corner, possibly loose. And he'll leave the outside lane open for Bronson Stafford, but he'll defend the inside lane as Stafford tries to figure out some way around that 24 machine. Just like that, the 24 machine puts a little bit of a sizable gap between himself and Bronson Stafford. Again, this is pretty much the closest battle that we have. on the racetrack. May have spoken too soon. Nope. That is actually Matt Dyer. We saw him making his way up through the field a little bit earlier on. 9 laps down. That's not as bad as Dakota Ramsey, who unfortunately is still off the racetrack and has been for the past 9 minutes and 3 seconds and still counting. So unfortunately, Ramsey is pretty much out of this race for good. Again, not exactly sure what happened with the number 46. But we'll see if we can get some type of information on that as soon as we can. So, we might be going to a commercial break, but it's not exactly as of yet. We're going to wait for pit stop. We'll wait for pit stops to happen, and then we will take a break. But meanwhile, a bit of a battle for third place as de Blasio moves down to the inside, gets by Shane Terrian. So Terrian shoved back to 4th place, and Bradley Burke maybe making his way up just a little bit. Matt Dyer trying to find a way around somehow. Trying to get it around whatever way possible without trying to mess up the leaders, but that's the point. With everyone so spread out, this is good for Matt Dyer. Not exactly good that he's getting held up, but he is on fresher tires. First driver in pit road for pit stops is Alan Rowell in the number 94 machine. Could be an early stop, however, for that 94, but it is lap number 43. So we'll see what the 94 machine chooses. 4 tires, possibly a little bit of repairs. Right sides go up on the racetrack, on the vehicle. And left sides are also up. So it's 4 tires and fuel, of course, for Alan Rowell. 14.5 second pit stop. We have a little bit of lap traffic possibly in the form of the 57 and 13. It's Matthew Rodriguez and Matthew James. That just depends if they either pit or the leaders pit. So it looks like this actually could be ending up to be a 3-stop race, maybe a 2-stop race even. If drivers pit every 50 laps, well, it's 2 stops, maybe a 3rd stop just at the end if you're lucky enough. That's why you stretch out the run as much as possible. And Michael Laria, looked to slide just a little bit, but he did not, so have an eye on this 4th place battle for the time being between Bradley Burke and Shane Terrian. So it's not only Walker Thomas that had a little bit of bad luck early on, but Shane Terrian now later on in the run, not having the best of runs either, falling back as well. I'll fall back to possibly Walker Thomas here in a few moments. That just depends when Bradley Burke really decides to make the move down to the inside and move himself up to 4th place, but I don't think Burke is really going to make the move and will actually decide to sit behind the 38, maybe saving a little bit of fuel. Again, trying to stretch out that run. Oh, very loose off the corner with Shane Terrian. Barely saw that on the edge of your screen there, but Shane Terrian will wait for this pass to be completed before showing a replay, but Terrian snapped loose off of turn 4 twice over. Somehow managed to save it. These two are going to stay side by side for a while, actually. Shane Terrian not giving up that 4th place. There goes Walker Thomas to pit road, the first of the lead lap cars. And it is lap 49, so he almost made it, but he couldn't. Another driver as well in pit road, Tom Bourne in the 54. Davis and Burke still remain, Burke and Terrian still remain side by side. Davis is a little bit of a ways back from both of these drivers in 6th place. And finally getting around on the inside lane, slicing the nose off, almost quite literally, was Bradley Burke. Shane Terrian, however, was loose off turn 4 just a little bit, but Terrian still not giving up that 4th place. And he'll try the outside lane again. He did hold fast on the top side, but I don't believe it was really enough. So it's lap 50, lap 51, I believe, at the start-finish line. Yep, so it is lap 51. 4 drivers have pitted. 1 is out, unfortunately. And it seems some personal issues for the 46 of Dakota Ramsier was the reason for him pulling off the racetrack, unfortunately. Speaking of pulling off the racetrack, that is another driver, I believe. Not sure who that is, but Samuel Cook is in at pit road. So is Bronson Stafford. That was Matthew Rodriguez, who we saw pull into pit road. So 3 drivers currently in pit road, one of which just about to leave. That is Bronson Stafford. So at this rate, it will definitely be a 2-stop race for, at this point, your top 9 who have all managed to stay out for the time being. Matthew Rodriguez still in pit road, a little bit late exiting at 16.8 second pit stop. Not sure if that was fuel related or damage related. I'm not seeing anything on the side of that 57. Nope, there it is. The right front bent just a little bit. Matthew James comes into pit road. Nobody else follows. So James will now fall out of the top 10 for the time being. As that is Matt Dyer trying to get some amount of laps back. Oh, that may not be the... I thought it was going to slide up for a second. Thankfully, the 84 kept that car under control. Did not slide up into the 44 machine of Larry, who's currently running in 2nd place to Finlayson. That's the 13 of James exiting pit road. Might be going back into pit road, I believe, yeah. Possibly a speeding penalty on the 13. He didn't even pit yet, actually, so that is incorrect, as Shane Terrian comes down from 5th place to enter pit road. So the very first driver to pit was about 10 laps to go. That was Alan Rowell in the 94, lap 49. Adam de Blasio relinquishes 3rd place, goes into pit road as well. So that means it's only 6 more drivers that have to pit. So this rate is, again, definitely for sure that this will be a 2-stop race for these drivers. Question is, when do the leaders pit? I believe, nope, I thought the 14 was pitting for a second. Does Bradley Burke head to pit road? Nope. Grant Davis may be heading to pit road. We'll have to wait to find out. Does not look like it. Shane Terrian passing on the inside lane, quite literally. Tyler Riggs also in pit road. Bradley Burke is in pit road. Robert Kenny stays out, so it's now your top 5 that have yet to pit. Michael Finlayson, Michael Laria, Grant Davis, and Tyler Riggs, along with Robert Kenny. Those are your top 5. Oh, Bradley Burke had to back up just a little bit in his pit box. That will not help with this overshoot just ever so slightly. I think he had to back up just a little bit. Now, I did see the miles per hour reverse on that number 51 machine's timing, so I thought he had to back up just a little bit. 5 drivers yet to pit. Finlayson being swarmed by drivers that have not, or that have already pitted. Oh, nearly makes contact with the quarter panel of Walker Thomas. Michael Lariat, however, does come down pit road. Grant Davis had stayed out, same with Tyler Riggs and Robert Kenny. So slowly and surely, lap by lap, there goes Finlayson to pit road. All the drivers outside to make their move into pit road. So we'll see if Grant Davis follows suit into pit road this time around. He will not. Tyler Riggs also stays out. Same with Robert. No, Kenny stays inside. Stays on the inside lane. Goes into pit road. Pole sitter 14 of Finlayson pulls into his pit box. Tyler Riggs yet to head to pit road. Same with Grant Davis. Oh, and we just see visibly the 34 having to back up in his pit box, and that will not help him for sure. Grant Davis and Tyler Riggs stretching out their run as much as possible. I think Davis as well. Yeah, he got, possibly, I believe, got a bonus point for that as well. The lead lap led. Listening to the engine on the 24, I thought he was going to head to pit road. Deciding against it. We'll see if he is coasting. He is not. Neither is Tyler Riggs. So now it's just Grant Davis and Tyler Riggs who are stretching out their run as much as possible. And they still have yet to come to pit road. I believe they may be trying to go to it as much as possible. Somehow, some way, maybe stretch it out to lap 75, which is again the halfway point. We're about 10 laps from that. Right now it's Grant Davis and still Tyler Riggs remaining out on the racetrack. About 1.2 seconds separate them. It's Walker Thomas in third place. Your former pole sitter, or current pole sitter, former leader of the race so far, Michael Finlayson, sits in 10th place and trying to go through the middle about 3 wide. Passes Bradley Burke for 9th place position on the outside lane. 3-lap fresher tires on the 14 machine. Davis and Riggs stay out. I'm still anticipating these drivers to head to pit road, but there's really... I'm honestly not sure when they're going to head to pit road. Possibly lap 70, but could be anywhere between now and lap 70, maybe even now and lap 75. They are trying to save as much as possible, that's for sure. We'll see Grant Davis momentum down into turn 1, about 167 kilometers an hour. That's the same for drivers like Tom Bourne and Adam de Blasio. We're battling for the 4th place position. Tom Bourne top side, de Blasio way to the inside. And still, the front 2 runners stay out. I believe they're hoping for a caution. This rate could be Walker Thomas. That would be in the lead. Checking out the speed of the drivers, 104 miles an hour. Well, Walker Thomas just went by Tyler Riggs. Is Tyler Riggs out of fuel, or is he saving, trying to coast back to pit road? Or is he being courteous and letting him by? I'll do the same for Adam de Blasio as well. Well, the lead lap run was nice while it lasted. The whole 8 laps, or an entire 8 laps, and a very good run at that for Grant Davis. Unfortunately, it comes to an end right now as Walker Thomas goes by on the inside lane. New leader in the 18, third different leader of the day. Second different leader, I should say, but in a sense, third leader of the race. First it was Finlayson. Then it was Davis. Now it's Walker Thomas. Adam de Blasio lurking in second place. Meanwhile, Ryan Hartz is not here this week. So, essentially, this is going to be an automatic boost in the standings for Michael Finlayson. Meanwhile, Davis and Riggs still have yet to go to pit road. They're definitely trying to make it to lap 75. Trying to split the race quite literally in half and maybe get the jump on other drivers. Let's see what it comes down to on lap 75. Across the start-finish line, Finlayson moves himself up to 6th place as Davis falls down to 4th. Sorry, down to 7th place, rather. And 3 wide just up ahead between Laria, Terrian, and Tom Bourne. Michael Laria doing a Terrian into the outside wall just ever so slightly. Michael Laria may pass on the very far inside lane in the dogleg, and it worked out. 2 positions in 1 corner for the number 44 machine. That will move Laria up to 3rd. Unfortunately, Shane Terrian has a little bit of damage to show for that. At least survival of it. Maybe a few paint scratches as he nearly comes up just in front of the 14 from that camera angle. Not sure if it was directly in front of the 14. Not sure what the distance was. But from that camera angle, it looked pretty close. 38 defends the outside lane. Finlayson moves down to the inside lane, trying to somehow advance his position once again. Finally gets down to the inside and by the 38 of Terrian, up to 4th place goes Michael Finlayson. So it will be halfway this time by, nearly this time by, but the completion of this lap, it will be halfway. I think Tyler Riggs may be out of fuel. He made it just barely. But Tyler Riggs couldn't hang on for 1 more lap, so that means, although just under half a race, or half the race in total. Does Grant Davis also relinquish? Yes, he does. He'll relinquish his 8th place position and also go to pit road with the halfway point of this race officially coming down right here. Robert Kennedy still a little bit of a ways to go. We'll hold off on your halfway rundown. Right now, in terms of real time, it is Adam de Blasio in the 1st place position. He has been for 6 laps. Walker Thomas in possibly 3rd place here in a few moments, because there goes Michael Laria down to the inside. Using that dogleg to his advantage. So at the moment, it is now Michael Laria in 2nd, 3rd place Walker Thomas, 4th place Michael Finlayson. Shane Terrian in 3rd place. Sorry, Shane Terrian in 5th place. 6th place going to be Bradley Burke, because Tom Bourne, who he just caught, got loose off turn 4. 7th place is now Tom Bourne. Bronson Stafford sits in 8th. 9th place Robert Kennedy. 1 lap down is Samuel Cook rounding out the top 10. Grant Davis also sits 1 lap down in 12th. 13th going to be Matthew Rodriguez, also 1 lap down. Same with Tyler Riggs, 1 lap down in 14th. Matthew James sits 15th, 2 laps down. Matt Dyer, 10 laps down after a connection issue earlier on, sits in 16th. Only 1 driver out, Dakota Ramsier, for the past 60 laps. Sits dead last in 17th from personal issues, unfortunately. So, since everything has been calm so far, we won't be going double wide. We'll be going to a full commercial here. But we will be right back here on the Racing Line at Broadcasting Network. This is the second to last race for the Flatout Racing League. Adam de Blasio currently leads. 70 laps remain here in just a few moments. 70 laps left in the race for the second to last race of the season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Back live here at ISM Raceway as we are still under green so far. Lap number 96 of 150 here so far. As currently leading, it is still Adam de Blasio. Michael Laria currently sits second. This is as of the start-finish line, of course. Michael Finlayson in third. Shane Terry in fourth. Walker Thomas fifth. Bradley Burke, Tom Bourne, Bronson Stafford, Robert Kenny, and Grant Davis rounding out your top 10 so far. But this race is still underway, so ignore that set at the very top of the screen. We are still green flag racing, and it is nearly 50 laps to go. Michael Laria directly behind your current leader, as we're at 53 laps to go this time by. And Adam de Blasio has led his 27th lap so far. We could have our fourth different leader here this race. Laria has been closing the gap. Robert Kenny has been staying ahead on the lead lap ever since the break, almost 20 laps ago. Looks like Shane Terry is going to be the first of many drivers to head to pit road early on. Not sure why he would head before the 50 laps are up, but in this case, I'm pretty sure he thinks that now that he's seen two drivers in the form of Grant Davis and I believe Robert Kenny stay out for quite literally half the race, In that case, I'm pretty sure he's saying, oh, you know what, might as well pit now while I still can. I'm double checking the name. That was actually Tyler Riggs and not Robert Kennedy that had stayed out. Another driver also leaving pit road directly behind Shane Terrian. That puts Shane Terrian, however, one lap down. Michael Laria is still just sitting on the back bumper of Adam de Blasio, not really making a move as of yet. More than likely knows, well, there's one more pit stop left in this race. There really isn't a point to try and make a move yet. Although if you're a little bit loose off turn 4 like de Blasio was, it seemed, well, in that case, might as well make a move as soon as possible. That's what Laria is doing, just looking down to the inside lane, but unfortunately, there's just nothing exactly possible for the 44 at the time. So we gave Walker Thomas and Robert Kennedy in a sense. Well, Robert Kennedy just passed Walker Thomas, but Thomas is actually already in pit road. There goes Bronson Stafford exiting pit road. Unfortunately, he is 2 laps down currently in 11th. Looks to be 4 tires for the 18 of Thomas, as he is currently down in the way. There goes Robert Kennedy down the pit road as Michael Laria looks down to the inside for the lead. 4th different lead change or leader for this race. At least possibly. That start-finish line, it has to be official, of course. Lead change in real time, well, that's virtually impossible to keep track of. But Michael Laria tries to continue on. Start-finish line shows that, of course, that's 21 of de Blasio. Was very visible there, about a half distance, maybe 3/4 of a car length, going in favor of that number 21, then powering off on the outside. Still remaining in the lead will be the 21 of de Blasio. So Michael Laria unfortunately stuck behind the 21 for the time being, as they both get really close to the outside wall there. Thought somebody was going to scrape it for a second. 2 drivers in pit road, Tom Boy and Michael Finlayson relinquishing his 3rd place. Tom Bourne in his pit box. Michael Finlayson taking the long trip down to his first pit box as we have a spin, I believe, in turn 1. That was the 57 of Matthew Rodriguez. There's nobody around, however, for the caution to really get triggered. Not sure if the 57 did a full spin or not. Replay is up on your screen. Oh, he got tagged by the 18 on the top side and somehow saved it. What's the 57? Absolutely impressive job by Matthew Rodriguez on that save. I'm pretty sure the 18 wanted to move down just a little bit more, but didn't anticipate the braking. So now, unfortunately, Thomas has to deal with a little bit of front-end damage on that right front. You can see the hood crumpled up just a little bit from a very forward angle. And right there you can see the hood is crumpled up, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Michael Laria has finally decided to say, well, you know what? I've had my run. I'm going to head down the pit road and see what I can do from there. Adam de Blasio also went to pit road. He is back out when we were taking a look at the replay there of what exactly had happened. Grant Davis has stayed out. Same with Bradley Burke. So Bradley Burke, your 5th different leader of the day. So Michael Laria had led it coming into pit road as well as after de Blasio had went to pit road. So de Blasio went to pit road first. Michael Laria went to pit road afterwards, trying to get the 1 up by 1 lap. Does Bradley Burke relinquish the lead and go to pit road? Yes, he does. Grant Davis all the way on the other side of the racetrack in 2nd place. Now it's Shane Terrian as these two battle for 2nd place. Grant Davis on a completely different strategy compared to Shane Terrian. Shane Terrian about to come to his 11th lap on his current run. Grant Davis about to come to his 34th lap. Remember, he pitted at exactly halfway. Bradley Burke relinquishes the lead to go to pit road and backs up into his pit box, unfortunately, after overshooting. And we could have our 6th different leader in the form of Shane Terrian, unless Grant Davis somehow gets it by. Maybe not. There goes de Blasio down to goodness gracious, under the apron, onto the apron, under the yellow line, which of course is legal. That's going to send Grant Davis 2 positions down to 4th. Shane Terrian, I believe you're 6th, I believe. That's what I said. 6th different leader of the day. It's a wild few laps here, as Michael Finlayson has been following suit. Just following the path that Alan de Blasio is carving for him. Remember, Finlayson, your pole sitter. And looking through, looks like the fastest lap has been set just now, actually, by Michael Laria, or about 3 laps to go by Michael Laria. 26.008. As Shane Terrian has fallen into the clutches of Alan de Blasio. Still trying to defend that position as much as possible, though, is going to be Terrian with that worn right front tire. That'll cause Terrian to drift up just a little bit. Terrian's on his 2nd pit stop. He already took his 2nd stop. Just about a 7 to 8 lap difference between Terrian and the other front 2 runners, being de Blasio and Finlayson, 1st and 2nd, respectively. Bradley Burke, the most recent driver to come out of the pit road, 3 laps currently on his run. And it's now 36 laps to go for Adam de Blasio. And the pit stops have taken place for the 2nd time in this race. Adam de Blasio just trying to figure out what the heck he has to do, and he's taking a very wide line around some of these lap drivers. A little bit of miscommunication here, possibly, between himself and the 34 in terms of car placement. So Robert Kenny will let him go. Well, maybe not. I'll say this. Robert Kenny let him take the inside. I thought the 37 was going to head down into the 21 for a second, but luckily that was not the case. Sliding up, however, and trying to capitalize is going to be Finlayson, but I don't think, 21 was not going to risk it. I thought the 21 would try to protect the inside lane there just a little bit, but luckily that wasn't the case, as it may have caused a little bit of loss of momentum for the 21 machine. Finlayson trying to figure out what line he has to take, what line works, what doesn't. Trying a little bit of extra momentum if possible. It's Matthew Rodriguez, 5 laps down, currently in pit road. Position 14 at the moment. Continues to be Finlayson chasing down Adam de Blasio. The start-finish line, virtually identical lap times, only 4 thousandths of a second, 0.004 seconds. 0.005 seconds, actually, separating the lap times between Finlayson and de Blasio. You see Finlayson trying to use the dogleg to an advantage, but unfortunately the banking change and the speed of Adam de Blasio as well, pretty much negating that attempt that Finlayson is trying to do. Trying to get down to the inside, all the momentum possible. He gets it for a split second, but it just falls off right on the exit of the dogleg. 30 laps remain here at ISM Raceway. We're going to take one more quick break, but we will go double wide so you don't miss a single thing here for these final, for the next 5 or so laps. So we will be right back here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Don't go anywhere. I'm going double wide. You won't miss anything.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
So we're coming back live just a little bit early due to the fact that Adam de Blasio was a little bit loose off of turn number 2 just a lap ago. Gets punted, well, not punted exactly, but gets the bumper from the 14, and we have the entire top 3 all right next to each other. The 14 of Finlayson gets loose. Michael Laria on top of the back bumper moves down to the inside, and somehow, some way, Finlayson makes it stick towards, unintentionally, the number 21, trying to use the lap car as a pick. Everything is heated up here within the entire top 3. 61, Bronson Stafford, trying to stay way out of the way. As much out of the way as possible, as the 21 is all over the back bumper. The 14, Stafford, almost a little bit below exit. Off turn 4, de Blasio dives it down into the corner. Makes contact with the 14. There goes Michael Laria, and they make contact. Caution is going to come out. Oh, man, the 21 nearly gets hit. More contact between the 14 and the 21. And, oh, my gosh, that's going to be it for the 21, I believe. Down to 21, not happy with the 14. That's not going to go over well. So much contact within that span of a few seconds. 14 trying to get back going. Unfortunately, the front end looking like a modified after that. I believe the same for the 21. Yep. So Shane Terrian somehow made his way up to second throughout all of that. We'll hold off on the replay just for a little bit to see if anything does continue to transpire, although I hope not. The first caution of the day. And it comes within the final 25 laps of the race. So I assume everybody will be heading to pit road, and that is the case. Laria heading to pit road, Shane Terrian, de Blasio on pit road as well. Same with Finlayson, of course. Walker Thomas also on pit road. 14 almost practically bump drafted in the 21. So we'll show a replay here in a few moments. We'll see who gets off pit road first. Michael Laria first in his pit box. Somebody had to back up. That's the 38 of Shane Terrian. I think the 51 had to back up as well. Left sides for Michael Lario. A little bit of an interesting choice for that number 44 machine. 4 tires for seemingly everybody else. De Blasio off pit road. He's not going to stay up in the front for long, however. Not sure why he'd really attempt to stay out, but might as well salvage as much as salvage as much as you can. Standings of point standings heading into this race, as we'll get the replay up right now, actually. Standings heading into this race, Adam de Blasio, 3rd place in points. 20 points off of the leader, 11 points off of Michael Finlayson, who he was just involved in the accident with. And that all transpired essentially from pretty much the turn 1 entry. So the entry to turn 1, de Blasio dives in the corner, makes contact with the 14. Stafford immediately gets caught up in that. Michael Lario, that's probably why. Oh man, that's probably why Finlayson thinks it was the that's probably why de Blasio, oh man, thinks it was the 14. Was that Matt Dyer? I believe that was Matt Dyer. That was Matt Dyer. I believe the move that the 14 made, or the 44 made, diving down to the inside, which he had every right to do. Lario had space to make the move, and he took the opportunity. The 14 just also moved down to the inside at the same time. So here we see Michael Lario moving down to the inside. The 14 of Finlayson tries to move down to the inside of the 21. Looks like we'll be going back green. Lario slides up into the 14, where the 14 was already on 14, which sends the 14 into the quarter panel. And all of that had ensued, so. Back live, the 21 is out front, although he's not going to be there for long, I don't believe. As the 14th Finlayson is over there in 9th place. So the first and only caution, 18 laps to go here on the restart. Oh, I did not know that was actually a thing from the flag ban, so that is actually really cool. Little quality of life touches. Green flag getting ready to fly. Lario in control of the field. Green flag flies. We are back underway. Six different leaders for the race, and at the moment, de Blasio managing to hang on, but how long will it be for? About 3/4 of a racetrack as de Blasio is going to get turned into turn 3. Caution comes out again. Does anyone else get involved? No. That did not go over well, and I don't think Shane Terrian was too happy with that move. Showing the 21 the bumper there. Is either that or a difference in speed, so we'll find out from the onboard of Shane Terrian. And Shane Terrian probably definitely was not happy about that. Take a look at this one more time. Terrian moves low, de Blasio blocks. Gets turned up into the outside wall. So unfortunately for Adam de Blasio, more bad luck. I thought it was just going to be the 21 that was, I thought de Blasio honestly was just going to fall back, but that did not seem to be the case. So a few drivers are in pit road, one of which being Tom Bourne from position number 6. As we go back live here. Finlayson also in pit road, taking opportunities to repair his vehicle and take tires. So it's Michael Lario in first, Shane Terrian in second. Third place, we have Walker Thomas. Fourth place, Bradley Burke, and fifth place is Grant Davis. And, of course, Bradley Burke and Shane Terrian and Michael Laria all ahead on the racetrack as they were behind in points. So your top 6 in points, Ryan Hart, who is not here, came into this race first in points. Michael Finlayson, second in points. He currently sits on pit road in 10th place. And make that 11th. Adam de Blasio coming third in points into this race, currently sits 10th on the racetrack. Bradley Burke, 4th in points, is currently 4th on the racetrack. Shane Terrian came to this race 5th in points, currently sits in 2nd place. And Michael Laria came to this race 6th place in points. He's on the front row, the first place position for this restart. So Michael Laria didn't exactly have any issues whatsoever on the restart. Just did what he did. And we'll see what exactly is going to happen here after this, as we'll have the lights go out this time by. So a 13-lap restart here. 13 laps on the restart. As a little bit of correction I should have mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast is that the build was actually out last week. I thought it was out this week, unfortunately. It's been a long 3 months between this build and the current one, so that's why the Flagman is now a thing. I kind of love it, actually, so we'll see what happens here on the restart with Michael Laria in control, Shane Terrian in second, third place Walker Thomas. Both drivers have, Shane Terrian and Walker Thomas both have right front damage of some sort. Bradley Burke, I believe, is okay in terms of his race car. Maybe, yeah, a little bit back end damage. And I think Michael Laria is the only clean car driver, the only driver with a clean car in the top 4, top 5 maybe. Either way, the green flag flies. We are back underway, and Michael Laria once again in control of the field. It's a wonderful start. Same with Shane Terrian. Walker Thomas slides up, almost makes contact with Bradley Burke there for third place. They still remain side by side. Here comes the 54 of Tom Bourne, all over the back bumper in the 18. And maybe seeing Shane Terrian all over the back bumper, the 44 here in a few moments. As that third place battle continues on. And the laps wind down here in the final few laps, or the laps wind down here the final few minutes of this race. And right now, Shane Terrian, even with a little bit of a bent up right front, still remains in second place. Look at this. This battle for third place is continuously ongoing. Somebody's having some massive internet connection issues there, unfortunately. Not sure who that is, but hopefully it sorts itself out as Bradley Burke gets control of third place. Tom Bourne tries to go over the top side for fourth. That doesn't seem to be the case as Thomas is fighting back on the inside lane. Tom Bourne on the top side, however. There goes Shane Terrian down to the inside, entering turn 1, 10 laps to go. That could be the move for the race, but it will not. Terrian did not get it to stick on corner entry, nearly made contact with Michael Laria. That's going to send Shane Terrian all the way back to Bradley Burke in third. So this could bring up everybody else for this lead. So it went from a 2-car battle for first now to just a 1-car defense for Michael Laria, as we're keeping an eye here on Shane Terrian and Bradley Burke to see if anything brews between them for a battle for third. Tom Bourne, fourth place. Tries to look to the inside, doesn't happen. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to slam the outside wall there for a second. Great driving by Tom Bourne. It was probably the camera angle, to be honest, but either way, Bourne doing a wonderful job here at ISM. This is only his third start as well this season. And for Tom Bourne, looking through, didn't have a top 5 or a top 10 actually as of yet. So this could be a first for him. No, scratch that. He did have a top 10, so this could be a top 5 for Tom Bourne. Oh, man. That's a 51 that scraped the outside wall there. Could be even a top 3. So Clouds have once again covered the racetrack. 6 laps remain. And it's all Michael Laria in control so far, and he's led a few laps. Honestly, did not think he would be in the lead. Definitely in the top 5, but I didn't think he'd be in the lead after all that just happened. Or before everything that had happened. Samuel Cook, unfortunately, off the racetrack 3 laps ago. Right now, it's still Michael Laria in control. I don't believe Shane Terrian could really try and get the momentum back. It's equal lap times between both of those drivers. May have spoken too soon because it's a 2/10 advantage towards Michael Laria. You can see in the lap times there, 26.800 and a 27.021. So this rate could all be Michael Laria, so we'll keep an eye on this battle for third place as Tom Bourne is all over the back bumper, Bradley Burke. Good luck saying that 3 times fast. You see the visible momentum difference that Burke had to get to keep the car under him. Burke tries to look to the inside, or Bourne tries to look to the inside, rather, who we're riding on board with. Doesn't seem to be the case for any type of a move so far. To the 44 of Michael Laria coming into this race, started 4th. Definitely had a top 5 car for sure. Right now he's showing that pit strategy sometimes definitely works out in the end, because it is 1 lap to go for the 44 of Michael Laria. For some reason the flag is not being waved, even though it is 1 lap to go. Other than that, 150 miles, 150 laps, all in the desert. Start in sunlight, and it ends under cloud cover. And right when I say that, the sun starts to shine from the clouds. But either way, Michael Laria wins at ISM Raceway. 2nd place, Shane Terrian. 3rd place, Bradley Burke. Tom Bourne, 4th. And 5th place is Walker Thomas. So Michael Laria getting congratulatory bumps from all over his race car. That's going to be a while. That's going to take a while to buff out, that's for sure. I think Adam DeBlasio just showed a little bit of displeasure again with Finlayson. Looks like he'll speed right by Finlayson through pit road, so congratulations again to Michael Laria on his, I believe, 2nd win this season. And he'll burn it down the front straightaway on the first race at Daytona as well. It's been a long time coming. He hasn't really seen the checkered flag, I don't believe, since. And there goes the left side of the car. Probably trying to pass inspection. The results here are as follows. Michael Laria, Shane Terrian, and Bradley Burke, your top 3. Tom Bourne finishes 4th. 5th place, Walker Thomas. Grant Davis finishes in 6th. 7th place, Robert Kennedy. 8th place, Bronson Stafford. 9th place, Tyler Riggs. And 10th place is Michael Finlayson. Adam DeBlasio finishes 11th. 12th place, Alan Rowell finishes 2 laps down. Matthew Rodriguez finishes 7 laps down. And Matthew James finishes 8 laps down in 14th. Samuel Cook, unfortunately, was out of this race in 15th. Same with Matt Dyer. He was also out later on in the race. And Dakota Ramsey are unfortunately out very early on with personal issues. Hopefully everything is okay with whatever's going on. But either way, it'll be Michael Laria, the Polish victory lap, and then donuts once again. So we will be right back after this with your top 3 interviews. Don't go anywhere. Back live here at ISM Raceway, standing by with your race winner being Michael Laria. We'll get that set up here in just a couple of moments to make sure everything is okay on the side of audio. So, Michael Laria, congratulations on your win here at ISM. It's been a while since you've last won. I believe your only other win is Daytona. I'm double checking right now, but either way, I'm pretty sure it's definitely a very relieving feeling to be back in victory lane.
Yeah, man, I tell you, it's been a while. I've had some races during the season though that I was pretty fast, but luck just didn't go my way. And tonight, I had the speed and I had the luck, and I finally closed out the deal. So it feels good to be back.
And it's absolutely wonderful for sure, especially in especially after the mostly caution-free race that we had. So, is there any strategy that you really had in mind, assuming that there were going to be cautions, or did you really think that was just going to go green all the way?
I actually thought it was going to go green quite a bit of this race. Based on past races I've done at Phoenix, uh, things can get spread out and you'll have these long green flag runs. And it did happen tonight. Um, Towards the end of the race, there, like around lap 105 or so, uh, the first place, which was a 21 at the time, and then third, which was Fenelson in the 14. They were able to pit before me. I didn't think they were going to come in that early, and that caught me off guard a little bit. So I was having to play catch up coming out of pit road there, and I was driving angry after that point. I was doing everything I could to run them down, and luckily they started racing each other, and they raced each other real hard. So um, in essence, I kind of just laid back a bit, and I knew that it was going to get nasty, and I was able to just slip by there and hang on to the lead for the rest of the race.
It worked for sure, and somehow, some way, you also managed to come home with, again, I believe your second. I'm still honestly not sure, but I believe it is your second win. But if I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong, unfortunately. But heading into next week for Atlanta, the last race, what are you looking for in that race, especially with, again, the not exactly new aero package, but more the semi new aero package?
Well, I was really strong with the low downforce package at Atlanta. Um, I think with the new package going into Atlanta, some of my advantage that I had is going to be gone, but I feel like with Atlanta being such a rough and abrasive surface, you're still going to have some of that slipping and sliding, especially if the race goes green and we get some good wear on the tires. So I think I'll be able to contend, but I don't know if necessarily if people are going to pull out to some really big leads there. So it's going to be interesting. You're definitely going to have to manage your stuff and definitely have to be willing to change up your lines, especially in 1 and 2, and see which is a faster way to go. So I think it's going to put on a good show.
And it definitely is going to be putting on a good show for sure for next week. So before we go ahead and let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your first place finish here?
Yeah, man, it's been a while. I got to give a shout out to Profile Machine Products for being on board the car and helping out with sponsoring the league. I got to thank my teammates at Flatout Motorsports, Grant Davis, Bradley Burke, and Adam De Blasio for uh, putting in the work and figuring out the strategy for these races. And of course, I got to thank you, Gary, for doing the broadcast week in and week out.
Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure to be here week in and week out as well. So hopefully we get to talk to you again next week at Atlanta. Congratulations on your win for this week.
All right, thanks.
So now we have Shane Terrian standing by here with us for second place. And once we get everything else set up, well, Shane, let's just have you describe your race in general, because that was pretty interesting. With, again, a majority of the race going green. If I could probably speak English here, a good majority of the race going green the entire way. There we go. That's English.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. I didn't have a second place car, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, third place car.
Give or take. I would say at least a fourth place. Laria, Adam, and Michael were the show. I was just playing strategy, but man, it was a good race up to the end. I don't know if you could hear that driver chat, but that was
Thankfully,
great.
I didn't. So
Great content. But no, it just the race was great. Look what happens when you get rid of a few guys. And kind of opens the league's eyes a little bit of who we shouldn't have here. So overall, it's a good race. I mean, Laria, man, if I would have waited like one more lap to pass it, I think I would have got him. I had changed my brake bias down, and when I dove it in there, I forgot that I did that and that the car didn't stick. So I'm glad he didn't wreck. Glad I didn't wreck. But overall, I'll take second after everything that happened there in the last 20 laps.
yeah, it's definitely an interesting last 20 laps for sure. So heading into Atlanta next week, what are you looking forward to for the Not exactly new package, but the package overall.
I'm hoping it's still slick, like old Atlanta. But yeah, we're all like, there's more than one line. Like, I want people to be able to run the middle, the high side, the inside, but still be slick. So you still have to drive it. That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I'm hoping to try and get a win. I'm out of the championship picture, so just trying to win it. I mean, I finished third and second last 2 weeks. I should have won last week. Cautions didn't play my way. This week I was just impatient. So hopefully next week I can get it.
Hopefully that is the case for sure. Before we go ahead and let you go, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your second place finish?
Yeah, I just shout out to my sponsor, Eva Controllers. I did not have them on the hood of the car this tonight. I had a Rogue Energy on. I do want to say thank you to Grant. I know he's pretty upset with us tonight, but you know he's doing the best he can. I know we're all trying, but thanks for him to doing all this work, getting this league going. It's been great up until the end. I'm not saying it's been horrible, but it's could be better.
Hopefully everything does improve, especially for next week as well. So we hope to see you next. We hope to talk with you next week. Congratulations on your second place.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Shane Terrian, and right now we actually have Bradley Burke here for third place, or finishing in third place after starting in fifth. So another top 5 car essentially for the 51 machine, and everything seemed to work out here tonight in the desert.
Oh, hey, what's up? I didn't know I was going to be interviewed.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a decent night. We had top 5 speed. We've had top 5 speed pretty much all season long, so it was another good night for me, just staying out of trouble with all the drama up front, and looking forward to finishing out the season strong.
and next week is going to be interesting for sure, especially considering that it is Atlanta with the current package that we have. So before we actually, would you like to talk about Atlanta, or like
I
what you like to
haven't
hype
really
for?
I haven't really ran this package on any track like that, so I mean, I'm excited
Ooh.
for the challenge. I think it's going to be pretty loose.
Actually, is yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting for sure. I'll say this: it kind of draws like the truck, sort of. Actually, don't take my word for it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's really close to the truck.
Yeah, in a sense, it does work out. So hopefully, you do get some practice in. But before we go ahead and let you go, anyone that to give a shout out to for your third place?
I'd like to give a shout out to you guys for the broadcast, and all my sponsors and my teammate, and congrats to Michael.
I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations again on your third place.
Appreciate it.
That was Bradley Burke finishing in third place, and now the fun begins. It's not exactly finale week. It's more finale season. That does not make any sense at all. But next 2 races here on the Racing Line Broadcast Networks are finale races, and as well as the fact that we're taking a little bit of a break. For how long? I have absolutely no idea, because it's kind of a little bit of a life thing. So whenever we decide to come back, we will come back. But until then, this Thursday is the Fuel Jetstream Media IndyCar Series with their last race of the season at Kansas for 150 laps. And then it is 130 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway for their last race, or this last race for the Fuel Jetstream Media IndyCar. Goodness gracious, that is the entirely wrong series. For the Flatout Racing League with the Cage Cup Series. Apologies for that. It's been a while, but we do hope to see you at least within the next 2 races and send out these 2 leagues on a very great note. So thank you all for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.